Shay, and we're Dinner National.
Today we're going to be making food from Afghanistan.
I thought that I had never eaten Afghan food before, but I was wrong. Afghan food is remarkably similar to Indian food, so it evokes like a sense of nostalgia for me. So I'm really excited about cooking this for you today.
So today I'm going to be making a Kabuli Palaw, which is a rice dish that's traditionally made with ground lamb, but since we're already making two kinds of meat, we decided let's make this vegetarian.
That's right, we're cooking two kinds of meat today. So the first one is a bone-in lamb shoulder that we're cooking Dumpukht. That essentially just means cooked on a steam. And the second thing is a Koobideh kebab. So let's get started. Bone-in lamb shoulder. It looks like an intimidating cut of meat, but it's actually a very simple preparation, so I'll show you how. For the most part, lamb shoulder is a kind of a dish that needs to be cooked for a long time at a low temperature to make sure that it becomes like really nice and tender. Afghan food is really simple, but in the best possible way. This is a big 5-pounder of a lamb shoulder that we have over here. There's this thin layer of fat. Most of the fat has been trimmed off, but the amount of fat that we have over here we need. So let's not cut it off because we're gonna sear this first and then cook it on steam. What I'm doing is I'm taking a pointed sharp knife and making like many holes in there. You can go all the way in there, like, you know, pierce through the meat. So there's a couple of different ways in which we are tenderizing this meat. So this is just one of them. What this will do is it'll also allow for the marinade to seep inside. Cool. So I'll just show you this real simple marinade now. All we have over here is 1 tablespoon of salt. A nice quantity of salt is pretty good because, you know, it's like a 5-pound piece of meat. Make sure that you salt it very well. I have some black pepper, also about a tablespoon. I have some grated garlic and some ginger that I've slivered into little pieces. And I also have the juice of 1 lemon over here. What I'm gonna do is massage this all over and get some on the other side as well. So I'm gonna quickly go wash my hands and finish the rest of the marination. I spared you the footage, but I spent quite a decent amount of time massaging the meat very well with the salt and the pepper and the garlic and the ginger. And now it's inside this big pot. I'm just gonna finish the last step of the marinade over here, just pouring in some lemon juice. That's it, we're done. So needless to say, it's always very important to wash your hands thoroughly before and after you handle raw meat to avoid any kind of cross-contamination. I'm gonna marinate this for 24 hours and I'll see you tomorrow. So it has been about 20 plus hours that my lamb shoulder has been resting in its marinade. What I need to do now is sear it first and then put it back in the container and have it cook for 3 hours in the oven. My oven is preheating to 350. My panini press has been heating to sear. You can also do this on a frying pan, but then just for the ease of taping and video making, I'm just doing it on this. I'm just gonna coat this with some olive oil and I'm just gonna give this a nice sear. Careful, this thing is hot. So this is just a technique video. We're just gonna dump a couple of vegetables in there with that. You can always use like potatoes or something, but all we're doing is carrots and onions, keeping it very simple, like this great recipe demands. So I'm gonna sear this till it's nice and brown, and I'll see you in a bit. So our meat is looking nice and seared. So I'm just gonna put the rest of the ingredients into this pot and cook it at 350 for like 3 hours. So you can always put like potatoes in there or like other root vegetables, but we're just using what we have just to show you like the technique. So I have 2 carrots over here, some canned whole peeled tomatoes. Fresh would have been better, but this is what we have right now. We have a couple of serranos, some cumin and coriander, about 2 tablespoons worth. And this is like a whole red onion that we've cut into long slices. So I'm just gonna put most of these red onions in there, make like a nice bed for this gorgeous meat to rest on. And just put like a little bit of the cumin, maybe about half of the coriander. I'm gonna put all of the chilies in there. Just nestle the carrots in there as well. Okay, so this big piece of meat is ready to go in the pot. Oven's at 350, perfect timing. Careful, this is hot. Nestle this beautiful piece of meat in there. I'm gonna put the rest of the tomatoes for some even distribution. Then I can put the rest of the cumin and the coriander in for some added flavor. And considering it is such a big piece of meat, it doesn't hurt to add like a little bit of salt as well. Nice large pinch of salt and a small pinch of salt. And then I'll put the lid on and this thing will cook for 3 hours. The lamb has been cooking for 2 hours, so it's time to make the Koobideh kebab. As I was waiting for a little while, I went and took a shower. That's why the costume changed. This is not like a true Koobideh because we don't have skewers, we don't have like a charcoal grill, but we're just gonna use our panini press to grill it indoors. This is like really simple. Alright, our onion has been ground into a pulp. I'll just add about 4 cloves of garlic in there. Just give that a little mince as well. And then I'll just mix this into my ground beef. Off camera, I squeezed the onion pulp and got all the water out. I used a cheesecloth, but you can just use paper napkins. I couldn't stop myself from crying, so please forgive me. I'm really sad. I'm just gonna mix this whole thing in. Don't worry about over mixing in this recipe. We want it to be over mixed. I'm just gonna add this egg. Okay, I'm still crying. I'll be back in a second. Okay, I'm back. What I have is a teaspoon of chili powder. You use paprika if you have it. I don't have it. And this is about a half teaspoon of turmeric. Reminds me of Indian food. A little bit of salt and black pepper. I'm just gonna give this all a mix. Make sure that all of my kebab skewers have like the right amount of spices in it. Oh wait, one thing I forgot to tell you. It would have been nice if your skewers were soaking because we don't want the skewers to catch fire. This problem does not exist anymore if you're using metal skewers, but I just use the bamboo ones that you can get in a grocery store. So I'll spare you more footage, but I'm just gonna keep kneading this for a while. And once I'm done kneading, I'll just distribute this evenly into like 10 to 12 equal balls, which I'll then form into my skewers. See you in a bit. So I was just trying to put this onto a skewer, but look at that, it's just falling apart. So it's like an immediate change of plans. I don't know, I did something wrong. Tell me what I did wrong in the comments, but I'm not gonna let that defeat me. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna make this into like a flat meatloaf and then cut it to mimic or imitate the look of a Koobideh. Alright, so I managed to get all of these on here. As you can see, I just kind of like pressed it with my fingers to mimic like the grooves that you see on a Koobideh. I don't know how well you can see it on this camera, but once we flip it, it's going to be really apparent. I'll let these go for like about 5 minutes per side, and then I'll flip it. And once I flip it, I'm going to rub some butter on it. Okay, so I got the Koobideh kebab off of the grill, and just for the record, I never ended up using any more butter because there was like a ton of fat that came out of the beef. As you can see, I had to use up 2 slices of bread to like soak up all the fat. This is like a really crispy beef fat tasting slice of bread that I'm totally not gonna eat. Totally not gonna eat.
Okay, so we've been waiting 3 hours to see what our lamb looks like. Let's take a look. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. Oh wow. Okay, I want to eat that right now, but we can't. So what I'm going to do is keep this in an oven, which we've already turned off, while we cook the Kabuli Palaw. And yeah, then we can eat everything at the same time. Kabuli Palaw. It is time to get cooking. I'm going to heat 1 julienne carrot in this oil. I have about a half a cup of oil here that's been heating up. So I'll cook these for 2 to 3 minutes until they're a little bit soft. Alright, it's been about 2 to 3 minutes. The carrots are getting softer, so I'm going to take a slatted spoon, a spoon with holes in it, and I'm going to scoop these carrots into this bowl. Try to drain as much oil as you can. Alright, so I'm going to add a half a cup of raisins. We have golden raisins here. I think that probably the dark purple ones would be best, just to add a little pop of color, but this is what we have. So fry these up. Also, I have a tablespoon of pistachio here and a tablespoon of slivered almonds. The pistachios are also cut. And fry these for 2 minutes or so until the raisins start to puff up and float, which they're already starting to do actually. Look at that. Really cool looking. I have about half of a yellow onion here that I'm going to fry. Okay, so the onions have been going for about 5 minutes. I'm going to pull them out and drain the oil. I did forget that in the carrot and raisin mixture, you're supposed to add a half teaspoon of sugar. So don't forget to do that. Ideally, it would be mixed in while the carrots and such were cooking, but I'm just going to mix it in as it sits aside here. And we're setting these onions aside in a separate bowl than the carrots and the raisins. Everything will come together after the rice is cooked. All right, my water's at at a rolling boil. It doesn't matter how much water you put in because you're going to be draining this anyway. I'm going to pour in the rice, 1 1/4 cup, and make sure to thoroughly rinse your rice or else it'll be too starchy. The rice has been boiling for 6 minutes. Now off camera, I'm going to drain all the water out, then return the rice to the original pot and add the rest of the ingredients. I'm going to add 125 milliliters of water and stir this a little bit more. And now I'm going to add in our fried onions and mix it well into the rice. What I have here is about a teaspoon of salt. This is half a teaspoon of ground cumin. And this is a 1/4 teaspoon of ground cardamom pods. I'm going to stir this well and then add to the top of it our carrot and raisin mixture. So we'll just let this cook for 20 minutes and see how it looks. I was just making a quick salad and decided to check on the Kabuli Palaw, and it seems to be done already, and it's only been about 8 minutes, so it looked like that parboil plus the 8 minutes was just enough time. So it's all finished.
So our meat has been resting in the off oven for a while, and this is how you know that your meat is totally cooked and ready to eat. The bone comes right out. Look at that, you guys. Can you imagine how tender that is? If the bone just kind of like fell out. I'm so glad that the rice is ready. Cannot wait to begin. So this is like a really delicious Afghan meal. So what I have here is, we did not make this, we just purchased this. It's just Middle Eastern bread. Afghanistan is not in the Middle East, but you know, a vaguely similar kind of bread doesn't hurt. I'm just gonna let Hannah eat a little bit of the kebab. What do you think?
So one thing we did notice about the kebab, maybe you should tell them because my mouth is full.
Yeah, the kebab is definitely a little bit dry. I don't know if we did something wrong. If you can think of something, do let me know. But for the most part, whenever we eat like Sikh kebab type of things, it's usually a little bit dry.
What isn't dry is the lamb. Holy moly.
The lamb just fell apart. I mean, I think the hardest part behind this entire recipe was getting the lamb out of the pot, because whenever I held it, it just fell apart. It was super delicate.
Okay.
I cannot, yeah, please. I could eat this every day. Let's try some Kabuli Palaw.
Yeah. And so I made a little side salad. I didn't show that in the video because I think you guys know how to cut up some vegetables. But basically it's just tomato, cucumber, and some parsley chopped and a little bit of lemon juice.
This is super tasty. I mean, I really like the carrot and the raisin in it. I never thought I would because it sounded a little bit strange to me. But when I tried it, I can totally see that this works.
Hint of sweetness really complements the rice. I love it.
Right. We'll definitely make this again. Tell us what we can do better with our kebabs. See you later.